Alrighty, well, let's get started here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a fine Thursday evening, and looking forward to that Friday and weekend coming up. My name is Brandon Andrelzik. I'm a real-life theme park designer, and today we're playing Parkitect. We are going to start our first park in the Sandbox mode, so pretty excited for that, so that should be pretty good. Welcome to everyone I've seen in chat so far. Welcome to the one and only. Welcome to Dan, welcome to Cole, and welcome to Coaster Hour. Hope you're all doing well. So, we're going to start a new park, because the last one we did was kind of a shit show. Just of all the things. I'm going to turn off money, turn off goals, I'm going to turn off research. We're just going to vibe here. So, alright, let's get into it, and then we can talk about what we want to do. So the goal of this park is to learn how to build with custom scenery, mostly. That's sort of the main goal of it all, because I really probably need to learn how to work with all of that kind of stuff, and it's going to be an iterative process, so it is very likely that everything that we build will end up getting demolished at some point and rebuilt again until we get to something that we like a little bit. But the idea too is that we're going to start kind of on the smaller side. So what I want to do is I want to build a small European park. So thought process is something that is small enough that is easily attainable to build all the things in it, and also add an appropriate level of detail to it, because I'd like to get the detail level up, but I also don't want to take on a giant project that's going to take me like 16 years to build or to do, considering like the RCT projects that take me 2 to 3 years to actually accomplish. So we're not going to jump into the deep end as of yet, but we're going to get there eventually. So we've got all the mods installed, same mods we had last time. So we've got all the different parts and pieces of it. What do I mean by European Park? So let's go to the database. So here we are. My thought is a couple of parks in Austria, mostly. So the one that is the most interesting to me is Freizeit Park Familienlands. So this is in Tyrol, and it's got a couple of small little coasters here. Yeah, full Efteling recreation, exactly. That's where we're gonna start. We're gonna do Phantasialand too. We're just gonna merge them together. We're gonna put Terran right on top of the lake in there. So what I like about this is that I like these little tiny parks in Europe that have grown from basically just kind of farmland, where they were a little just kind of small family fun park that have slowly grown into other things. So you can kind of see here, clearly there was this at one point, then this grew on and added on, and then you have little rides and attractions and stuff like that, and some off-the-shelf stuff, a lot of just flat rides and things that we can pretty easily do. So lots of stuff like that, but with sort of a themed charm. So basically, if Little America had theming and I don't know, not trying to think of something to say that's not derogatory, because I actually did like Little America, just sparse, but Little America with a soul, basically. So that's the goal, I think, is maybe 1 or 2 coasters, family size coasters, maybe one that's on the larger side. Like I could see us maybe getting a Eurofighter or something. I think like a Duinrel, for example. But lots of little stuff like this, so some theming in there. Little flume like this guy. I wish this park had Street View, which it does not. And I wish there was a little bit more to it. But so this is one inspiration. So that's one. We're gonna actually keep that one up, and let's go to the next one here, which is actually here in up by Lynn's, which I guess do it this way. So Fantasiana, which has been in the news as closing its Togo to put in a mock Big Dipper model, which is somewhat interesting. This one's a little larger, and I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to doing something like this that has grown a little bit. I do like the idea of having some kind of a water source here that has a towboat of some kind. Like, I think that could be kind of interesting, and all of that sort of thing. Yeah, so this is the one that's got the PAX coaster. This is the one that I'm trying to visit next year before the PAX coaster closes, because I really would like to get this before it gets anywhere else. Also, it has the this art engineering quintuple launch coaster, I think it is. So it's got the backwards launch, 2 forwards launches, and then it goes around a second time, so it goes around twice. Yeah, it's closing in October of next year to be replaced with a mock Big Dipper that's going to sit on the same spot, which is a shame. It's clearly they've got some space back here, but I suppose if you're just going to build out the area, then I guess that's the one. So that is an option as well, as far as that goes. So that's the second influence as far as parks go. The third influence is, let's see here, Family Park, and I have to here we go, this one in Austria. So this one, which is another slightly larger one as well. This one's got a little more to it, but same style as you can see, just built out of the farmland and everything else. So if I do go to Fantasiana, then we'll absolutely go here, because Rattenbull does look pretty excellent, and I would love to complete the set of Mack Youngstar coasters. That could be fun, just to say that I've gotten them all 3. But this one's got a couple larger things in there. It's got a Gerstlauer Skyfly. It's got a couple of slide stuff in there. Got this track rides kind of throughout the whole thing. Hey, old mine, what's going on? How's it going? Good morning to you as well. And then just a number of different things. This is actually a pretty old aerial here, but it's still nonetheless interesting. I don't think one's got, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know, their last one was Rettenbull, which is 13, and they have the kids coaster, which I don't really count, but and I guess their other family coaster, which I also don't really count, even though I do count butterflies. But do count butterflies, but don't count powered coasters, because they're not coasters. But anyway, just the idea is a lot of your standard flat rides, like your pirate ship, like your scramblers, like your just all the different round rides and everything. Skyfly is not necessarily a thing because we just don't have it. But lots of little parts and pieces like that. This sort of fantasy type setting in Europe, I think that seems like a nice way to go about it. Funny. And these sorts of things, just nice landscaping, nice theming, and all of that. So that's the goal, I want to say, of what we're trying to do here. While we're here. I do like the idea of some kind of like a towboat type ride. Fun gun, like appropriate America. Right, so a little storybook time. Animals, racism. Bad. I do like a good nautic jet. Turns out I'm way over the weight limit, so it means that I sink it usually. Basically Family Park, I believe. amusement park of some kind. Anyway, there's that, and then I don't. Oh, it actually does. This one is gorgeous to me just because look at that backdrop. I mean, my God, amazing, absolutely beautiful. Well, all sorts of little track rides. That's kind of the big thing, um, because I'm definitely interested in that. This would have been a fun ride to include in the game. I mean, I can understand why they didn't, just because of the water element and everything, but it would have been cool to have one of these in game. I guess that's it. Okay. So now let's think about rides and think about what we can do with it. So I think for flat rides, we got a lot of different options. We're absolutely gonna have a carousel. We're absolutely gonna have a car ride, maybe a couple of car rides. I don't know how many car options we got, but we'll absolutely have one of those. Maybe a small Ferris wheel. You know, that seems to make sense. This gentle monorail thing, absolutely. I mean, those seem to be all over the place. We'll put one up high a little bit. Ghost Mansion seems pretty appropriate as well. Maybe we can also do a little Arabian area with a magic carpet. Could do a small observation tower. Lane carousel seems like a must. Spiral slide, safari ride. I mean, basically, over half of these will probably stick in this park. And then, as far as um, the big flat rides go, I'm almost positive I want to put in a Hex Instance just because I'm fascinated by these rides. I think they're pretty awesome. So we'll definitely do that. Maybe a Calypso. Maybe a Monster. Would love to do a Roto Shake, but that's just too big for that. The Clockworks could be a newer for new for 20 20 whatever type thing. We could do a go-kart. I'm not really a big fan of the go-kart in these sorts of parks. Maybe the air race instead of the since we don't have a Skyfly. A jumper would be a good one too. Big fan of a power surge, but I don't think a park like this could keep one of those up. Could do a small Star Flyer as well instead of the swing ride, but I feel like the swing ride is maybe more classic. And as far as transport rides go, I'm definitely interested in the boat ride. Um, I think a miniature railway is almost required. So I think we'll definitely have to go that route perhaps. Monorail could be interesting just because of the small size monorail, but I I think since we're gonna have that raised like pedal area, probably a little less interest in that. As far as these go, I think we're gonna have to do a Calm River ride just because that is a very European thing. A flume seems necessary just because everybody's got a flume, and I like the idea of a splash battle for sure. Um, I think splash battles are fun, even though they kind of seem to have come and went as far as how that goes. Now, ride wise, coaster wise, it's a little more challenging. You could do the Zamperla package, although I do like the idea of some mix. I mean, Mach also offered that, I suppose, at one point. So could definitely integrate that together into a little mine area. So maybe we have like, um, maybe we could have a um, powered coaster with a with the flume in there, and then do like a mine area, do like an Arabian area, do like not sure quite what else. Um, Question maybe for Cheesecake: When if I use the powered coaster track and I change out the train to the mine train coaster, does it still operate like the powered coaster? Is it is the speed and controllability track derived or is it train derived? They don't really like the one-off Ocean Park model that they have here on the thing. So I think if we did do a big coaster, we'd probably end up doing a Eurofighter. I could see us doing like a spinning coaster. I'm not gonna do a single rail. I could see us do a could see us doing a mock water coaster maybe, although that's on the much larger side. Could also do little mini Intamin as well. Junior coaster track and just your standard looping coaster trains would be a good option for doing like the zero ESC type thing. I don't think we have bobsled coaster trains. I guess you could just use the Wild Mouse trains, but I don't know if that really looks any good as far as that goes. No, too. I got excited for a minute there. I was like, oh. All right. So, I guess then we need to figure out how this is all going to lay out. I mean, look, I will never say no to more content in games. So that's a definite thing. All right, so I think I'm going to basically ignore this entrance as a thing. We'll bring a depot out to wherever we need to go and do it like that, because I, as I tend to do in most of these, or RCT and all those things, it would make sense for me to build this out as a little village and other things that then grows into the park itself, just to give us some context. So doing those fields around it and everything else. So I think that's maybe how we want to go about it. So as far as that goes, then I feel like we maybe want to have some kind of a wow. Streamrise.ru. Ah, yes, that's not totally legitimate. Totally legit. Why? Shield mode. This happens so infrequently that I never know what to do about this. Show mod icons? Is that it? I get it. I can pin it. Be like, hey. Delete, timeout, or ban. Ban. There we go. Mostly because I'm never gonna want to build right up against the edge of the park there. So while I like the idea of this as sort of a entrance feature, I think I'd almost just as soon build into the space. And can you build rides in the scenario editor? I mean, I guess if there's no reason why I should build in the regular game start, then I guess there's nothing wrong with building in the scenario editor. I mean, is there a reason? I guess I'd be curious to know, because I never used the scenario editor. That would be the question, if anybody has thoughts on that. Because I've never actually looked at it, to be honest. Out of curiosity, let's see what it is. So, scenario editor, new scenario. Just because I've never used, it's been so long since I've used the RCT one, because I just don't really like it. Okay, Hills Valley. Right. That lets you own guest spawns. Convenient. This is also tedious. we're just gonna do initially. Sandbox. Wait. Reasoning is fair. I don't think you can move the depot. All right, no, that's fine. I don't intend to move the depot. I will just put in the little guys in the middle. Turn off this. Turn off this. So lay this bad boy out. So we have our main roadway here. Excuse me. Road. Oh no, I can't do that. This though. We'll bring like a road through this village. Maybe this way. Like a village square, for example. Okay, and then I think the park wants to live on this side right here. So what it might be is that we have the park itself basically kind of come in from the little square here, parking lot, which would just some sense. No reason why the parking lot can't do whatever it does. It'd be kind of cool to have like a river basically bounding that lot there. River alongside down here. That perhaps, and then cross the river to get the park itself. So entry here. Now, build wise, we have so many different things, and there's just so much stuff that we're gonna have to kind of figure this out as we go. I feel like what we're gonna do a lot of today is just blocking and landscaping. Get to that point, but take a look at what our entrance buildings are doing for each one of these. So go back to here. This one's basically just got a side kind of pass through here, main building as an entrance, and that's pretty much it. So this is sort of what we're doing as far as entry goes. So like you got this for a straight shot in. This will throw this little river of some kind in there. We may change that up a little bit perhaps, but so that's one option. This one, which is a little bit larger now, actually has a bit of a proper entrance. So the question is, do we want to go this heavily into an entrance, which I do kind of like. Now it looks like they've since changed this up a little bit, updated, but it looks like at one point you kind of had this sort of castle type entrance, which I do like the look of. Cool. I don't really know what this is meant to be. Slide maybe? An old poster track. Guess they added that at some point. We got our sort of traditional fairy tale-esque buildings here. And this one's big enough to come off of a roundabout. They added that at some point. And then as far as this one goes, this one's got parking across the street. And we don't even get to see this one. But I think in general, here's our entrance, which is shockingly similar to the other small Austrian park as far as entry goes. So let's go back and see how we want to do this. Quickly cross. Figure out what's going on there here a little later, but then I think mostly what I'm looking for is some kind of a little almost arched bridge type entry across water here. Let's excuse me, build out ourselves a river here, and go halfway rather than right up against, so we have a little bit of bank to work with. That's more or less what I want. That. Oh, there's already people in the park. I have nothing to offer, friends. I have like rapids pieces or that's the particle effects. Water stream, water explosion, water stream look like. I mean, who doesn't want to watch the invisible water spout? Okay, that's a nice enough little fountain. I feel like that's something we should put in. That might be a nice look around the chair swing, perhaps. Yeah, could do maybe a little less large as far as that goes. Mossy rocks, those are nice. Those mossy rocks. Let's see. Regular rocks. Nice pathway textures. Fire, sharp rocks, grass, rocks. I guess we're thinking generally more Austria, if we're gonna go for a similar thing. Ooh, sounds good. Pull burger again. These rocks are nice, but I feel like I'd honestly just use the regular rocks. They seem fine in this instance for doing the stuff that we need to do here. Thing is, I'd like to go through it and do a lot more of kind of themed landscaping and things like that. But the other question is going to be just how much how much are we going to go through and mess with that. Rock color is probably not where we want to be though. Let's we go a little darker perhaps. We'll change up some of these too. It gives us a little bit of variety. Getting a surprising amount of just little bits of lag here and there, which is really interesting. Because I even got that in campaign mode, and it was kind of annoying. But I worry that I'm going to get it a lot more here. While I don't think it's an issue right this instant, I feel like that could be a problem here forward. All this darker grass and dirt type thing. And I will say, since this is just a very much a learning experience through all this, we are absolutely open for suggestions in the stream and tips, tricks, whatever. If you got suggestions, feel free to throw them out there because I'm all ears at this point just to see what's a good option stuff. Yeah, just that. Amazing. Oh, but it's amazing that I'm getting the lag that I am. Absolutely. Right down the stream there. We'll do some cool supports too, so we probably can't put them in the water because they're Hershey. That may not be a bad idea. Uh, I should probably see what are we doing graphics wise. Turn off the rain effect. Not like there's a lot of people going on right now. Leave it at that, I suppose. I didn't. If you're following along on the RCT stream on last Sunday, I have not gotten my my control key fixed, so we are still out one control key, which is incredibly frustrating. Not necessarily go quite as dark as I was expecting. That feels maybe too dark though. One rock at least. Okay. And oh, they can. Those are some big guys. Alright, there's Foliage Essentials 2. X Freak for this one. Aloe plants, we got boo, we got birch trees. I feel like we'll probably want some of those. We probably should put together a list of all the stuff. I can do some clover here. A little bit of wildflower going on. Dandelions. Well, those are giant dandelions. I think part of this is also going to be getting the scale right on some of these because I'm not super familiar with the scale. How I want to do this, but I think from a tree mix standpoint, we'll be talking the fir tree 1, fir tree 2, fir tree 3. Flowers. Edges. Tree maple bush. Do like myself some bushes. Maple here. A couple of different options for maple. An oak tree is beautiful. Don't want to use it yet, but ponderosa, seaweed, date palm, willow. Back to the top here, just because so many trees. So many trees. All right. I like the ash. Build ourselves a nice little collection here that we can choose from. Always a big fan of birch trees. I'm curious if it's gonna fit with this overall look. Like it could. Yeah, it's probably a good tree mix, I would think. So the question is, which ones are we looking at? I feel like these secondary ones, these darker ones here, are maybe the olive colored ones. Okay. And do like this just kind of generic broadleaf tree. That's going to be a good generic tree for us. Mozzarella pulled pork, that sounds great. Alright, but we need a color for these. Not fall. And we are nicely into fall. Alright. That actually isn't bad. Like, that looks pretty okay. Alright, so that was number 3. So we're gonna do number 1, 2. Really concerned about this amount of lag at this age. Okay. Alright, and then bushes. So we want to do, these are looking more fern-like, which I think we want to probably avoid. I'm not sure they're, oh, my graphics card. Push 1, 4. I don't think I have any camera mods. I wouldn't have deemed those very necessary, I suppose, at the time. Do like some flower bushes, those are going to be really useful. Leafy is the leafy flower. Lilac's nice. Large flowers, but they are nice. They already got the maple bush. There. Blackberry bush. That looks nice. Keep those. Ground cover. Grasses. Grass flowers. Good to add just some growth to things. It's interesting because my CPU usage, according to OBS, is only 13%. So I'm not doing too bad, I don't think, for everything. Guess I like the look of that. Okay, so I'm start with this thicker grass. See? The thing is, I'm not going to be helping myself with high poly landscape, but that is the price to pay, unfortunately. Always so crazy to have to think about both rotating it and sizing it. Properly, but we'll have to carry that throughout a lot of the space. Be alright. It'll work. Might take a minute getting there. Go. much larger one. Not the right one. Flowers, for sure. I do, this is the kind of stuff that I feel like the campaign mode was missing, where it was just all of these little details of stuff that you can zoom in and it looks great, and then you zoom out and you go, wow, I built nothing. But it's an accomplishment of the moment, I suppose. So, ideally, we're coming across like here somewhere. These two to be great to have it angle up just a little bit. I don't know if we can do that. Bridge, no bridge, okay. Arch. Arch. Lunar. I think at some point we're just going to place all of these, see where we land with it all. Yes. The nice thing is we can lay a lot of this out uh, with paths, and then we can just modify it out or change it. I figure we're going to be using path coverage a lot on. And then excuse me, park itself starts more or less. Well, here's a question: does the park start out here? Do we have like gate out here, and then you start by crossing the river, or does the park start on this side? To me, it starts on this side. Like, I feel like the only thing that's out here is the entrance and the um, parking lot. I think that's kind of how I want to do that. If we have our entrance, now that expands out a little bit to this side. Yeah, see, I don't know. Like, do I kind of feel like maybe the park bought the land on this side of the water, then the water doesn't necessarily run through it, because I don't really want to have to figure out fencing across the water and everything. So I feel like the park is going to start here, and we're gonna have like a field like right immediately here on that side once you get in. And once you get in, it will expand out into whatever. So I feel like maybe we have some kind of like turret tower that's on this side, and then you have like double arched entry here or something. We could always put like the ticket, maybe the ticket window out here, like ticket and parking. I expect parking is probably free. Um, but you could do something like that out there, maybe. And like the turret of like a castle turret here, then arch across, and then you have like a larger like something going on here. Rebuilding of some kind. Like that would end up being, I suppose, like a guest services and all of that sort of thing. Open it up into the plaza itself. So, how does that plaza begin to shape out? Like if we're talking about this as like a castle forecourt kind of thing, where you have the you come into the through the gate and you're into the inside. Like I could see this being like sort of a long arcade over here with like the gift shop in this side. Like you could probably have a shop of some kind. Here's you probably have a shop like here. I'm already building too small. Is the problem? Is I feel like I need to build these buildings larger. We could. I feel like this is all going to be connected here, so we would have some kind of something going on here. Then feels like this would be just sort of some greenery and some other like seating area almost where you have. I see this as like the main park restaurant on this side, and have some eating area in the middle here, and this is like the main park gift shop, and then we have a little bit of parts and pieces there, and then you're out here 5 across. Out here you have the first of the rides where we have it over water, and then or at least the side facing the guests over water, and you do like a little boardwalk of some kind. So like you'd have this, then have the water, then have the ride, and then this is the way into the park. Like this would sit say there. Then we would do entrance off to one side, the exit off to another, and this could be across, and then I have to out. I don't want that to be. I wish there was a way to change that independently without having to rely on the very first path piece out. This will come over. There'll be water coming across, and then fans out to the rest. We need to make this look a little more round, perhaps. This is as large as we can go right here. There's some things we can do. Okay, so water is going to go down a couple here. And this would end up getting water up to some level. Yeah, that is going to be a thing. So I just wish I could remove path itself. Like I could remove a section of this base. Like I would love to diagonally cut off this section right here, but and that is less feasible. I want to go with 2.5 or 5. 5 is the Hey, Mr. Alex Connor, how are you today? So we'll do something like that. But we do need to see what can make this more of a rounded pad, perhaps. Foliage essentials. Path cover. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Do it. This form, we may end up kind of going for. Got the fences too to accomplish it. Maybe I have that. I very well could have. Let's. Please. Um. It would be great to you could remove the base. Then all I'm doing is 3 of these here basically. That essentially. And what are metal fences? Not the worst. Nice curved elements there. That's nice. Nice to be able to just drop in stuff like that. Probably do that actually with more rock or rocky or brown type texture, perhaps. You would definitely be interested to see. I'll have to look into that after the stream to see what options are available. I do like the idea of sort of like orange tinge something, and I'm sure there are details that or elements that we can put on top of this. Traction essentials, okay. I will have to get that. Sport removal will be amazing. Question is, do I even want I want this, or do I want to be able to see underneath of it? Yeah, these curved arches. That's not quite wide enough. It's fine. All right, so traction essentials. That's going to be the one we're going to use. Then that. And that'd be nice just to get round base plates for a lot of rides, because that's me. That is a essential element, I would say. I'm sure there's path covers that can cover a lot of this that have the theming that I want on it as well. I look at this fence and it's fine, but I'm looking for something that's got a little more wood character to it. We can always theme it too. Or not. It'd be hard as finding some of these sections where you can't put the up because of there. I might actually reconsider that fence. Probably have to um these guys, and I can probably make a custom fence because I can turn things now. That's right. I I forget about that because we can make a little fence section. We can just custom fit it to sit around there. Um, that's good. Out of curiosity, what kind of fences do we have? Because we might already have one that we like. Um, like that. That for area. This one because it's colorable. Oh, come on now. Really all over the place. How I managed to place a bunch of these here. That one too. I like that one the best for the main base right now. This has more of a Pirate Adventure Jungle vibe to it, so I don't think we want to use this for the swing. I want to use something a little nicer, perhaps. Garden fence. Asian looking. I mean, all this at this point is really just learning what exists. So this is all good information. I think we need an open fence for this ride. I think. Why I had initially thought, you do like a post and rope, but the post and rope just doesn't have the right vibe to it. It feels a little bit um, not quite the I'm going for, but this could work. And rotate tool. Rotate this in any point and then move it around. That. And with a little bit of effort, get that to line up. We'll have to make a group first out of that. Similar there. Okay, so we can make that work. Or we just use the ones that already fit. Look at that. Look at that. They've already thought through things. Not large enough. You got diagonals and half diagonals. Look at that. By 2. It's true. This gives you more work, right? I think we might have to do what I was thinking initially, which is fine. I'm not opposed to that. Need to see kind of what the setup looks like. I do. This would be a lot more convenient if I actually visited these parks, just because I'd already have a little bit more knowledge of what they've got at each location. But I'm sure I will find some pictures at some point of a few of these. But we're also forging our own path, as it were. I like the hey 730. What's going on? I like the idea of this looking more like a rock castle type wall. I think we'll end up doing some scenery there as far as that goes. Does swing out pretty far. Let's oh, she's a good time. And what we can probably do as well, as grid really doesn't matter at this point. I can probably put an entrance on this side, the entrance and the exit on this side, and then do exit is basically create a path that mirrors the pad and circles around the whole rest of the way. Entrance and exit then live together. That's going to go out of bounds a little bit, but hopefully it won't look too bad. View-wise, you would basically just go around the whole thing, so we'll just make like a curved entrance. We're here to whole thing. That would make sense to have some kind of a pathway through here across. What I'll have to do for next time is get some reference photos as well, work off of, because that's a key part of our work that we do for the RCT parks. We're picking that up as well. Okay, that's a ground texture. Nice. A little curious to see like. Actually has a nice concrete texture to it, where you could probably pretty easily come in and make that fit. Can't change the color though. Okay, well that's fine. We can that. The rock work here. Like this park would spend a little bit of money on sort of a thing. Corner kind of like that. Let's see what happens if we bring back too much. Oh. Second layer of rock here. I want to get really nice bushes here probably, and then those flowering bushes. Both of these much smaller. Lots of rain in this campaign, or Sandbox Park. Okay, so how about a color of flower? A hard time figuring out which one is selected when we do these. I'd love for this to stop raining so that I can actually see what kind of flowers I'm getting. So we'll pause for a minute while we do that. Okay, so kind of like the red and yellow texture there. Hang a little bit off the rocks there as well. It fills in very nicely. I don't think we even need a fence for the queue. Let's look at a little bit darker here. Too dark. Quite certain. Let's see what it looks like once we get we can also do more like a sandstone-y type color, but I think the These rocks are good. Okay. Full color now. What do we got? Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that works out pretty well. Get rid of that for now. We'll put in something else here to act as a barrier here in a little bit. It's a shame because if more of a crater pirate fence, then it would look more. Actually, this one looks good. This one works pretty well for a kind of seafaring. So I think that it works. This almost feels well. I think the other fence would be something we put out by the pirate ship, perhaps. But I don't necessarily want to get into doing full curves for everything because I don't think this would have curves. But it probably would have some diagonals on it. Move the Q side under the tab with bins. Oh, I do have that. Okay, let's see. I haven't actually looked at any of this yet. But I do have resort detect. Lots of stuff. Alright, exit only sign. Oh, I see. And a lot of stuff here. It's impressive. Anyone with the oh, I see it. Very nice. That's cool. That is very cool. Build our own signs, so that's something we'll work on. Is there one that gets rid of railings just in general? I would love to scrap. I guess that other one you suggested would be good. The traction essentials, maybe supports. Remove these supports, maybe that'll take care of it. Oh, funny. When it said half diagonal, I was expecting the RCT version of half diagonal. Oh no, been ruined. Okay, the unsupporter model, and that's the one that I'll work on. Diagonal. What have I done? So this just needs those gone. We'll drop in a nice size beam underneath of this to give it some kind of thick edge thickness, perhaps. And then coming right off of the diagonal here, right here. This will just sort of be a little narrow path with some trees on either side, maybe, and then we'll have some eating areas in between. I kind of picture the space in front of. We didn't say we were going to build Efteling, but in front of Efteling's one train station that has all the food stalls in it. It's funny because you want to be compact, but it's you don't want to be too compact because I feel like it's very easy to get into a lot more stuff. Like I feel like I don't want to go this many woods. Like I almost just want to have the edge to be woods, just like the one tile throughout the whole space, and then all this is like some kind of something else. Just that little bit of edge would have all all of this. Okay, so the unsupporter mod and the attraction essentials are the two that I need to get that in mind for times. We'll have a castle turret here. Then the kind of park edge wall might be here, but maybe we have some kind of a little like play area of buildings or something, like a couple of little courtyard type buildings through here. And then it feels like not too far until we have to have our second attraction. I feel like that one probably wants to be somewhere around here. Let's look at this slightly holistically. Slightly. Sand is gonna start. So the pathway is coming in here, comes over this way, comes to this side. I think at this point we need to like split a little bit. So we'll have some kind of a right here. If this water continues around, I think it maybe ought to. We could have some kind of a lagoon of sorts. Maybe there's poster feels like it maybe ought to be over here. I wonder if I can build a one of the Tivoli models, like a Tivoli medium or something. See if that's doable. Do we do the track for that? We do, right? Because we got the miler track, which generally the sort of kind of the same, right? Eh, not quite. Not quite, but not far off, I suppose. Got the same box beam. I'm just looking for the cross beams on it. I feel like that zero track would be ideal. All tube steel. There's the wooden wild mouse as a stand-in. Loop on it. Look at that. Hell of a loop. Loop wants that. Well, that's a question. Is could we drop in a little Tivoli coaster here? Because I feel like those were definitely the coaster of choice for small European parks in the early days. Zeros were pretty much it. Um, that'd be a good option. Might actually be worth sitting pretty much right there initially. But I feel like we need to get some attraction density in pretty quick. Especially if we go back and look at our parks here. Like, let's look at this guy where we have a car ride underneath here. We've got the got that little rapids boat thing going on over here. There's some playground stuff. Here's our main eating area and some other different parts and pieces. A little bit of kind of greenery space, which we should have. That's fine to do. But you go across to some of these other ones, and it's pretty dense right away. Especially, I like the Starflyer here right at the front, but we just did swing ride, so we're not doing that. Car ride makes sense. Maybe even a bumper cars. Like you could always tack the bumper cars onto the end here. Although I don't know how common those were in Europe. I mean, you see them at fairs, but I don't know how much see them otherwise. It could be worth doing the gentle monorail here, actually, putting that kind of towards the front because that seems like an opening day attraction. Which, if we do that, we could absolutely run that around here, loop it around, bring it back around the front. Set up some options there. You probably want it to be at like, I don't know, 3 height. Tall enough. We're screw with that? Sure we can. Like pedal through it. Yeah, you do just like pedal through it. I love it. uh, Mod will never not be hilarious. to make it go faster. We'll have to see exactly how this all lines up, because I'd like to make sure that we pay some kind of architectural attention to how this how this ride is setting up, you know, from a standpoint of blocking the view of the buildings and all of that kind of thing. But I do think this is the place for it. Like, put the station up here. Oh, whoops. There are. Thank you. What you missed was a corkscrew on this thing and a limb launch. Because apparently both of those things happen. You can do both of those. But what I'm trying to figure out is, you know, we've got this entry building here of some kind that will shift around, and I probably need to shift it a little further and maybe go down here. But what does this become? Actually, you know what? The station for this ought to sit over here. That'll be the edge condition for the park. Then we'll just go through the little plaza courtyard, the castle space, and then back to the front. Make these go faster. In lift. Anything. Very good. Easing through that corkscrew. Love it. And then here we go. Whee! That is what the intensity is medium, though. Turns out when you put a corkscrew on a cycle monorail, it makes it fast. Swing brake. Okay. Could be real fancy and put it on the ground, elevator lift up to the height, and then gonna go down from there. All right, so if we did that, then I feel like we'd be over here. And kind of starts out at the entrance. To be honest, what we could probably do, really wanted to have some fun here, because I wanted to do this like turret out at front. We could wrap the turret, although that may kind of ruin our overall look up here. Getting a little too clever with it. No. Either way. Your coaster stacks. Yeah, it is interesting how stats work in the. Like, I feel like stats in this game and pacing in this game are both kind of terrible, but it's, you know, part of it, and you just gotta get kind of used to it a little bit, I guess. But so this is our entrance, which I think it makes sense to be. Feels like once we come in, we're gonna have a couple like trees and such. Have that nice little reed entryway. And thought would be out here is maybe we get some planters that are going to kind of follow the sort of curve around here and do some stuff. And I feel like if we do that, it would be a very nice opportunity to basically follow the car ride, or this little um, pedal monorail ride along the top of it. So like we're centered here. You do a couple little curves and stuff, and then just kind of put it overhead, which would be kind of a nice look. I feel like this whole thing is going to end up moving back a little bit. What we may end up doing, just as we spread this all out, is this whole river may shift, just depending on how everything shapes out. Because I feel like I've got some pretty wide paths at the moment, comparatively. We'll have some type of trees down the center. Some that have a visual through them. I think the birch is going to be the best bet, but I kind of like the ash as well. The oak is, or the broadleaf is good. I have an oak as well. I'm here. Leafy tree, maple tree, spruce. Pine. All, all temperate trees, so are. I want to make sure there's a good mix of stuff as we come in, and ideally the here's some oak. I like the oaks, not in this sense. I kind of want something that's got a little taller, has a canopy to it, and cover the space decently well. So some older trees, so maybe these ashes, or I think these broadleaf could be good just because they cover the space well and they have a pretty small footprint. So we'll put like a seat wall around each one of those too. I'm almost more and more interested in actually putting that uh, this thing to go around like a castle turret or something in the front, but gigantic. That one and that one. So need, what is this, broadleaf? There we go. Excuse me. Awful quit. This one would basically just come through the center here of the and thank you. It's a pretty slow moving journey here. Fine, but wanna up just a I kind of see this as being like a double arch of some kind, and a fountain right here. Fill in some of these gaps. Like an interior walk. People. Chairs with. And a sorta, not quite the dining chairs I'm looking for. I'll have to see if there's like a mod for that. Feels like there ought to be. More will come with proper pathways in, but I feel like this is the raw look there. And if we have this fountain here, we'll call it. Like I said, what I'd like to do, so this is our shop, basically on both sides. This becomes the restaurant over here. Up. Then this is like garden type space, seating area, all the above. Yeah, I think that's what I'm wanting to do. Um, is there just invisible path? Like, is that a thing? Because I would very much love to have just like straight up invisible path. Um, My only, I mean, the ground textures will be fine. That'll work. Invisible path is a thing, then I'm all for it. But I think the these pieces here. Ah, yeah, okay, I'm familiar with that. Well, no worries. I can make it on our own. Architecture is going to be the big struggle here, I think, in general for me, is just all of those elements. So we'll see how that goes. But I see this as basically being some kind of a little like uh, colonnade of sorts here across this whole space, and it's going to be more columns, I suppose, and like maybe two across, so it's a little more open. Not the same setup, but something along the lines of this. It's a little more like these are two paths, and it's just one is covered and one is not. Try and make try and make some castle corners here and everything. So then this is just going to be like our little castle to open. So this is like the what was the kind of original park. If we could have another like smaller ride within some of these spaces, but all these things take up huge amount of spaces, which is fine. It's just would be neat to have something here and there. Boy, I appreciate the scale of this because it does feel correct. It's just always so big. You look at it. What goes in some of these some of these spots. I want this to feel like sort of the original park, which is why I'm thinking, we have this overhead little tram or monorail thing. We've got this swing ride as sort of a focal point wrapping around, and then like I feel like the original park is going to be like maybe double this size. That's that's sort of it. So we have this car ride here or something, and then we can go from there. I don't remember. Did the car ride have any other vehicles for it besides just the antique cars? Antique cars open. Those look okay, like that. Car thing. Uh, Doesn't like that one. Or it doesn't like any of them. Okay. Somehow that guy got stuck there. Our little ghost ghost car going on there. Alright, that's fallen to. Okay. Well. E-car. Go first. Train, safari train. That was the safari car, which probably do something like that in one of these sections. That's a train. Or a vehicle. Yeah, I think I broke it. Keep cycling through. Let's see what it does. I feel like the open the open cars, antique cars are probably more so where you would want to be. But I think I think at Hexenstens is going to be a something for the front. Excuse me. Sorry. Feel like maybe it's going to be back here, and then this almost has a spur over to it, and then the car ride's kind of doing its thing in the front here, in front of that. Kind of feel like I want to plan this plaza out before I go full tilt on that monorail thing. I see this as like a lot of more quarter tile landscape and stuff like that. Quarter? Not half, that's quarter. Alright, well. We're going to use it for the purposes of blocking this out. And then what we can do is the monorail can go right over top of this area. How's it going? No worries. We'll wave and say hello. At the very least. Okay, so triangle half. That. And I realize that I'm basically just building this like 3 times now, but it does help me figure out kind of what I'm doing here. Makes me feel less. Oh, oh. This should be a tree in here. Be like a big tree, and want to use one of these guys, or if we're still liking the ash, may be the way to go. Problem is that trunk gets gigantic, but granted, so do these. Unfortunately, I really actually just like these broadleaf trees in general, which we can always adjust the overall sign of them, but that's larger than I wanted, or tree is larger than I wanted. Just because if we're gonna have a building right here, we don't necessarily want those to be right in the way. So maybe we do take the guys. Lives somewhere in there. I picture some larger canopy type trees throughout. The area I'm thinking about, let's cross to here. Uh, from there to do it on my own. Reset where I am. Antwerp, Tilburg is there. Here it is. All right. So I really like this area right here. This is what I have in mind for our space, where we've got some seating areas. We have these gorgeous fences, some trees, which I like this detail right there. Hanging planters, so that's a good one. Good takeaway. Well, and then the nice brick throughout. So I think that's where I'd like to go with this. So this is the fence, I think. And we may kind of retouch a lot of this later as well, but Where am I? Oh no. Help, I'm lost. Yeah, exit out of that. That's that one. There we go. Okay, so that is more so what I want. That edge. Right to there. That's a much wider opening though than I initially wanted. So I'm trying to think about it in terms of guests walking through here too. That's going to be an issue. But fine. Yeah, I do want a whole access point there. I guess we'll see. Go. Go. Like the little ones. Being that sort of in-betweener. And we could do like a single guy in the middle if we wanted to, just to fence off some like decent size little shade tree in here. But what I do want to have is like some hanging plants. So wire hanging, skeleton hanging, just in case. Worth the check. Um, Color wise, I feel like we're going to be recoloring pretty much all of this point. Maybe we set that up here. Right now, it's I haven't started any of the architecture yet. I can't really say necessarily, but I will say I'm pulling most of this from that Efteling seating area, and then once we um, once we get going on the architecture, I'm not quite sure yet. I think I need some more pictures of places just to really get a better understanding of what I want to do with it. Um, because I feel like I feel like I want to do certain things with it. I'm just not quite sure if those are going to be the right move or not. Um, I do want to do like little seat walls and things like that. I like the idea of the seat walls that were on the Efteling one. Like this is very cool to have this like just little seat area here. I like these light poles with the hanging plants. Um, I like the brick. I think the brick is really nice. And then this other kind of coverage here. It's interesting. They do have chairs that more or less match the overall look of what we're going for. So what we may end up, oh, that's the wrong one. What we may end up doing is end up putting a seat wall here, and then putting some plants, and then just kind of seeing where it lands. I can see this corner here just becoming some like nice bushes and things like that, just to give us a little bit of something. All right, let's see what kind of lamps we got. All right, so that's one as an option. That's one too that is different. I don't want to just have like a straight up lamp post. Or that first one is probably our best bet. That one's a little better looking. Let's say we did something like this. Then could we hang some plants from it? Nice question. Got those flowering bushes there. Got the what are we working with? That flowering plant like that, which is fine, but I think more so a small version of the yellow one might make the most sense. Say that one makes the most sense. That this one just larger? Is that one just so? What I want to do is make a little combo deal here. Let's drop this here. Yeah, I will have to check that out, see what Eric's got in his, because I appreciate his skill level far beyond mine. Zoom in just a little bit better. feel like that's how I would do it. With some refinement, perhaps. That look like. I'll have to ask him though. Or we can come up with some things, but I don't hate that. I feel like that's a decent start. We'll put some ground cover in here. Seating, 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 seating through this whole space. Feels like this maybe needs some ground cover here as well. Although I expect there's going to be some kind of a ground cover or a pathway cover mod that's going to take its place. I do want to go ahead and brick. I do think this is starting to come together pretty all right. Like I'm not hating it. This is our fountain here. Always bring it down to build up something else instead on top. Bring that down and then put like a railing on top. Can you move this once you already have it and then just like move it into a location that's occupied? You can't. I would have figured you'd at the very least be able to do that. Color the. You can't even color the gun. I'll have to see if there's a fountains mod because I feel like that's probably a thing. Why I'm putting all these in right now because I'm just taking them back out again when we do the hanging stuff. Oh, no, I like that. Seems like this would be a nice place to dine throughout here. I think if anything, I do need to work this ride through. I think we'd probably sit like this and work through here. What weird time frame are we in right now? What is this? I have no idea what's going on. Are you stuck in underground view? Oh, it's raining. That's why. What the hell? We'll have to figure out what the best way to do these columns is going to be. This ride. What we could do, and I'm kind of leaning towards it right now, is just bump this whole fence line out to line up underneath of it, and then now we've got columns for the ride that also hold up columns for the lights and also hold up hanging bushes. I think that's probably going to be the better bet if we're being honest with ourselves. All right, let's see it. This will be the last bit I think that we will do. Okay. Oh yeah, I should have put those down. Little fence half. That lamppost, just probably will redo it. We'll open that up. Now, what do we do about this? Keep this. Or do we fill this in? Fill it in, it's going to sit in a weird spot here. Well, not a weird spot, just kind of a half spot. Feels like we need to push it the whole way. Have some Z fighting there, isn't it? We did this instead. This. Does line that up better, so probably not all bad. column sitting where it is good. Although what I'll probably end up doing is deleting that column and adding another further in, because I imagine these things can do pretty good spans, but maybe not that good a span. Okay. Match all this color-wise. Here? There we go. Put them back again, just like removing them a third time. Feels like a lot of light bulbs, doesn't it? That feels like a more appropriate number of light bulbs. So we'll do a column for the ride here. We'll do a column here. We'll do a column here. There. So then we'll have 1, 2, and then maybe another 1 there. Perhaps. This will just cross in this way. And we'll end up having to get a path cover that goes over all of these. Nice. All right. So how's that all look for day one? Feel like not a bad start, perhaps? As far as layouts go and everything else sits in there. I may try and play a little bit off stream just to kind of further it along, but I don't think we're too far off as far as the overall look goes. Gotta download some more stuff and see how it comes along. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that overall look. I don't know. I like it. So yeah, let's try this again next Thursday and we'll see what else we can build. We are on Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, you should do it because that is where we have a lot of our general discussions and just a good time to hang out. Theoretically, we're streaming this Sunday, but there's an F1 race at 3 p.m., so I'm not quite sure when we're going to do it. I'm going to figure that all out. But if you join that Discord, you'll find out because that's where we'll post about it. So until next time, thank you all very much for watching on this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a good weekend, and we will see you in the next one. So I think that's it. We'll see you guys later. Bye now.